today's video, we are on our way to Liverpool docks.
Countdown!
But once you leave either the M57 or the M58, the road down to the docks is a little bit rubbish. Ironically, if you'd have been heading down to Liverpool docks in the 70s, you would have passed something that was actually a load of rubbish. We're also going to take a look at a building that people drive past every day and don't know its significance. So let's take a look at that and more as we discuss it. One trucker's eye. Liverpool docks, or Liverpool Freeport as it's known, isn't actually in Liverpool. It's actually in a place called Seaforth. Seaforth is in the borough of Sefton. Travelling to the docks from afar, you'd probably use one of two motorways. That would be the M58 or this one that we're on, which is the M57. This junction that we're approaching now is junction 5. And on the right hand side, as we pass over the top of the junction, you'll notice that there's a lot of trees. Behind those trees is a fairly new housing development. Prior to that, the land had stood undeveloped for quite some time, but before that, it was the site of Kirkby Sports Centre. Kirkby Sports Centre was demolished in 2007 after a new leisure centre further down the road opened. The sports centre boasted a running track and a cycle track, but in 1975 something else appeared on the site that really was a load of rubbish. This is how Junction 6 appears in 2025, and this is how it appeared back in 1975. And thanks to a BBC documentary that I'll link in the description of this video, we can see just exactly what was at the side of the motorway. This was Kirkby's very own answer to the French Alps. A dry ski slope that only ever saw one man ski down it. And that man was BBC presenter James Hogg. But why was Mr. Hogg the only person to ever ski down it? Well, for that, we have to look at another BBC documentary on YouTube.
It's the Kirkby ski slope, already a legend in its own brief troubled lifetime. The ski slope, which was built without planning permission, over a water main, on land the council didn't own. It's never been skied on, and it never will be, because it's to be demolished, knocked down before it falls down.
And knocked down it was. But what was actually wrong with it?
They needed to know about the bumps, the big bumps which kept bulging about the skiing surface. Free tip in Kirkby. And they came in their hundreds, according to local lorry operator Alf Seddon. The people of Kirkby really have been lumbered with a heap of old rubbish.
Can you believe that they actually built the ski slope with people's waste? And at the end of the M57, there's something else that has become a bit rubbish too. This is the infamous Switch Island. Here in 2025, it's the junction that links together the M57, the M58, the A59, the A5036 and the A5758. And even though this junction seems to be overdeveloped, it's probably Britain's most underdeveloped junction. The junction itself is completely unrecognisable from what it was when it was first built in 1930. As originally it was just a small roundabout that linked the A567 Dunningsbridge Road to the A59. And if you are heading to Liverpool docks, it's Dunningsbridge Road that you'll need to take. In 1972 along came the M57, and this is where the junction started getting a bit more complex. Roll on 5 years later to 1977, and along came the M58 bolted onto the junction, and the footage on the screen at the moment is that of the M58 motorway. If you drive down the M57 or the M58, you'll notice how space has been left, possibly to build bridges at the end of them. But rather than link everything up properly, Switch Island has developed into the monstrosity that we see today. The junction itself sees more than its fair share of accidents. Many drivers are seemingly unaware which lane they need to be in. The Switch Island junction also sees more than its fair share of red light jumpers, a problem that has been alleviated if you're approaching on the M57. As popular YouTuber Ashley Neal pointed out in one of his latest videos.
Hi everyone, we've got some newish speed cameras down here at the end of the M57, and they seem to have done the job. It used to be an absolute rat race.
Whilst the M57 has had those upgrades, strangely the M58 hasn't. Even the lines on the floor here in front of us are very misleading. The lane I'm in heads to all destinations and we're heading for Liverpool Docks. Lane 3 to my right only heads to Liverpool Docks. But being in the wrong lane at this junction seems to be the norm. Case in point proven by the hideous coloured Mercedes. In the early 2000s, on one of the many redevelopments of this junction, the DVSA, or as they were known at that time, the Vehicle Inspectorate, utilised the old tarmac left behind on an old section of the roundabout, and upon later further development of the junction, a proper checking station was then built to the right hand side as we look at this screen, and either side of the DVSA's check site you'll find the latest addition to the junction that is Switch Island. This is the Thornton bypass and links to the A565, and it's just another bot's job. The road itself was built wide enough to be a dual carriageway, yet they still decided to bottleneck it into one lane, which causes many problems at rush hour. And it was this road that was set to serve as the gateway into the docks at Seaforth. National Highways set out a proposal to bypass Dunningsbridge Road. As you can see, the proposed route was set to go through Rimrose Valley, but this proposal was met with much public opposition. But in the budget of October 2024, the scheme was completely scrapped. One of the campaigners from the Save the Rimrose Valley opposition group shows how naive some people can be when it comes to understanding how freight moves about. But rather than destroy the Greenbelt, wouldn't it have been better to upgrade Dunningsbridge Road? And ironically, that's exactly what they're doing on one certain section of it. But has a massive mistake been made? As with this upgrade, they seem to have completely missed the opportunity to ease a lot of the congestion, and to my mind they seem hell-bent on causing even more. Let's take a look at it. This brand new industrial and logistics development is Atlantic Park. As they state on their website, it's ideally located near to Switch Island and just 2 miles from Liverpool to the Deepwater Container Terminal. The entrance to Atlantic Park is on Dunningsbridge Road itself, meaning even more traffic will be using Dunningsbridge Road. Notice how there's no railway to put the freight on? I just thought I'd highlight that. And with the building of the new park, they've taken the opportunity to upgrade Dunningsbridge Road. Or have they? This is the last main junction before you reach Atlantic Park, and it's here that there was a footbridge that was demolished back in 2022 after a vehicle strike. National Highways had been wanting to take the bridge down for quite a while. A lot of school children need to cross this road to get to school, and now with the footbridge gone, they're having to do it by crossing at the traffic lights, and soon with even more traffic. As just a few hundred metres more, Atlantic Park will appear on your left, and as you can see there's a lane closure in place while they do the upgrading works. Do take notice of the recessed bus stop on the left hand side, and all will become clear very shortly. Now you might be thinking, looking at the roadworks, that they're actually widening the road on the left hand side, but as you'll see very shortly, they're actually putting a cycle lane in. Obviously having a cycle lane is far better and safer for cyclists, and also better for drivers on the main road. And the cycle lane that they're building is quite wide, along with a footpath. But take a look on the right hand side of the road. There's another cycle lane and another footpath. Do we really need 2 cycle lanes that wide on both sides of the road? But looking at this still image, can you see another problem? Using Google Maps, we can show you exactly what this piece of road looked like before the work started. And for those of you who have not yet spotted it, it was a recessed bus stop. Which idiot has designed this? There's going to be a lot more people using the bus to get to Atlantic Park, so the bus is going to have to stop in the live lane. But we're not stopped there, pardon the pun. So as we quickly pass the junction for Atlantic Park, we come across another bus stop. And right now I'm reckoning you're already 1 step ahead of me. And actually, probably 2. And yes, you'd be right. It's another bus stop in a live lane. And it used to be a recessed bus stop out of the way. But just before we get back onto some of the lighter stuff that we're going to see on this road shortly, we've got another junction coming up, and this one is hideous. At this junction, if you are heading to Liverpool Docks, you need to be in the outside lane, as lane 1 becomes a left turn only. This causes a lot of the congestion, especially when there's a lot of container lorries going down to the port. This video was filmed on a Saturday morning, so the traffic isn't exactly busy. With there already being a wide cycle lane on the other side of the road, wouldn't it have been a far better idea to build another lane from Atlantic Park up to this junction, rather than requiring all of the traffic heading towards Liverpool Docks to have to switch lanes? This would also alleviate the need for the bend in the road as you head towards Liverpool Docks. Because of the narrow lanes, you can now see that the truck's trailer is encroaching into this lane, leaving me unable to get through. And you can see evidence of how long this has been a problem here by the lack of line paint. As you can see from this drone footage, that's Atlantic Park on the left. But you can clearly see that there's ample room for a lane to be put in rather than a cycle lane. It's baffling that they were going to spend hundreds of millions of pounds to throw in Greenbelt, but when they have a clear opportunity to sort a lot of problems out, they completely fail to do so. It's this junction that signals the end for Dunhansbridge Road, as on the other side of the junction it becomes Church Road, and it was in Church Road that a once iconic venue used to stand. This area we're passing through now is just half a mile from the docks, and this is Litherland. And that building on the left is on the site of a former nightclub. Throughout the late 80s and early 90s, Secrets nightclub was the place to be if you were in Litherland. Having opened as the Regal Picture House in 1939, it then went on to become the ABC Bowl in 1963, before then becoming Allinson's Theatre Club between 1966 and 1983. It played host to acts ranging from Jerry and the Pacemakers to Bill Haley and the Comets. But even closer to the docks, there's another building that is arguably even more rich with its musical history. Today that building is called Spaced Out, but back in the day it was called the Latham. The Latham, or Latham Hall to give it its full title, was a music venue that in 1960 played host to a rather famous band. And I'm going to give you a clue who that was.
Wait, I can do this bit. Like a train in the...
Okay, it probably needs a little bit of work, especially to make it sound like this. And that, of course, is one of the most recognisable chords ever played on a guitar, even though it's actually two chords. But it is unmistakably the Beatles, and the Beatles auditioned at Latham Hall in May 1960. At the time they were calling themselves the Silver Beatles, but as you can see on the flyer, they were mistakenly listed as the Silver Beats. The Beatles went on to play the Latham 8 times, but their audition in May 1960 was their first ever advertised show. After the gig, John Lennon would break a finger as he had a fight in the gents' toilets.
On the 14th of May 1960, the Beatles played Latham Hall. John Lennon had a scuffle in the gents' toilet and broke a finger that night.
Those pesky Scousers always fighting. I don't know. Apparently the stage that the Beatles played on is still there to this day at Latham Hall. And it's the only surviving stage that the Beatles actually stood on in Liverpool. I do hope you've enjoyed this video on the road to Liverpool Docks. Maybe if you ever visit in the future, you'll know a bit more about the buildings that you're passing. Once again, it's time for us to get back on the road and off to another video somewhere else. A massive shout out to anybody who likes, comments and shares these videos. And also a massive shout out to anybody who subscribes to the channel. As ever, the biggest thank yous go to the people who spent money buying me a coffee. It really, really is very much appreciated. I can't say thank you enough. I'll see you all next time. One little trucker's eye.